Morning, students. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? We are in 5th unit, Unit 5, IO streams and files. In previous class, we discussed what is IO stream and the manipulators in C++, overloading, insertion and operator and extraction operator, less than, and greater than. In today's class, we are going to discuss sequential and random access files. Am I audible? Shreya Agarwal. The screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any doubt in previous class questions? What is input output stream of operations in C++ and how the files are used to store the data permanently in C++ programming? In today's class, we are going to discuss about sequential and random access files. We already discussed in C++, we can create files in different modes. It may be a data file, text file, or binary file. Depending upon that extension, what we are mentioning, say the file name .txt means the text file will be created, and file name .dat means data file will be created, where we can store the data in the business data. Text file means all the textual information can be stored, and we can create binary files also, where the data will be stored in the form of zeros and ones, binary bits. Any doubt in the previous class topics? What we discussed in last two classes? Input output stream operations, manipulators in C++ like setw, endl, setwidth, setPrecision. In the same way, how we can overload the less than operator, insert operator, and extractors operator greater than. In today's class, we are going to discuss about sequential and random access files. If you take the C++ files and the file stream operations, C++ views each file as a sequence of bytes. In every file, we can store a number of data. It may be in text or data or a binary form, or we can create graphical files also. In graphics based files, we can store the images like line, circle, rectangle, triangle, or giving some movements to the file symbols. We can create some graphical images also, like logo and other symbols. Each file ends with the end of the file maker. So once the data is written into the file, where the lost data is stored in the file will be marked. That's what we are using telg and telp pointers that we are used to mark the end of the file where the up to which point data is written. When your file is opened, the object is created and the stream is associated with the object. To perform the file processing in C++, the header file iostream.h and fstream filestream.h must be included in our C++ program. Within the fstream only, we have input file stream and output file stream, ifstream and ofstream derived classes. We already discussed the flow, which is base class, which is derived class. Within iOS only we have ifstream. Within ifstream we have the derived classes input file stream and output file stream. Now we are discussing about the sequential file operations in C++. You know very well sequential means the data in the file will be accessed one by one. Say if you are storing the first data in the first byte, second byte, third byte, fourth byte. If you open the file in the sequential access mode, you can access the data one by one. Say for example, if you want to access the fifth data, you need to cross first byte, second byte, third byte, then only you can able to access the data stored in the fifth location. That is the case in the case of sequential search, sequential sort, and if you are using sequential memory. So sequential means one by one, we have to skip the previous. The same way if you take the old form of memories, floppy disk or CD floppy disk and other magnetic disk. If you want to access the data stored in the second GB, you have to cross all the data in the first GB, then only we can access the second the data stored in the second GB memory location. You know what is sequential access means? Accessing the first data, then accessing the second data, then only we can access third, fourth, and fifth. And what is the advantage and disadvantage of using sequential access means? The data memory will be allotted to the array, or it may be the file. Continuous memory location will be allotted for all the elements belongs to the same object or the same file. Say if you want to create a file in a sequential mode, the memory will be allotted for all the variables, all the data what we are going to store in continuous memory location, so that it can be accessed to sequentially. And accordingly, the based on sequential access process, the time complexity will increase. So based on the best case, worst case, and average case time complexity of various algorithms, the sequential access will always need maximum time. What is sequential and random access files in C++, and how we can update a sequential file means the data that is formatted and written into a sequential file cannot be modified easily without the risk of destroying other data in the file. So if you are using the sequential file, formatting or changing the content is not an easy task. We have to format the entire disk or the entire file, then only we can store the new data. And moving the data from one location to another location or shifting, shuffling, the memory allotted for a particular data will be fixed. If you want to modify a record of data within the file, the new data may be longer than the old one, and it could overwrite the parts of the recording following it. So we can overwrite the content by performing the rewrite process. And what are the drawbacks of using sequential access files means? Sequential files are inappropriate for so-called instant access. So if you are using a file in sequential access form, accessing the 10th data is not at all possible. We have to come cross the first data, second data. We have to read first one, second one, third one, up to ninth one. Then only we can able to read the 10th record. So instant or direct access is not possible. applications in which particular record of information must be located immediately. Those applications include banking system, point of sale systems, airline reservation system, or any database management system. So in a banking system, we are using the storing the files or information in a sequential access file. If you want to access the 100th customer's information, it's like maintaining the manual record keeping system or maintaining a manual notebook. So if you want to, we have to scroll up all the pages, then only you can reach the corresponding the page which we are looking for. To overcome the drawbacks of sequential access files, we found a new technology called random access files. So it's overcoming all the drawbacks whatever we faced in sequential access files. The random access file supports us instant access is possible within the random access files. Individual records of random access file can be accessed directly and quickly without searching for many other records. Through the index or through the address of a particular file, we can directly go to the memory location and we can read or write the content from the particular data. No need to search for sequentially. The sequential and random access files. In sequential access file, data is accessed in linear or sequential manner from starting point to the end point. Each read and write operation must follow the previous one. In contrast, a random access file data can be accessed at any point in the file without having to read the entire previous files. In sequential access files, simple and straightforward to implement with minimal hardware and software requirements. It is inexpensive because it does not necessitate complex indexing and search algorithms. The main advantage of sequential access files are it is a straightforward method and easy to implement also because it's using the basic and fundamental concepts, and it is an inexpensive one. It is the core idea, and we can easily make use of the searching algorithms and simple concepts because the data is stored in the linear fashion and it can be accessed directly, and extremely efficient dealing with the large data sets. So you got the idea what is sequential access file and random access file. Any doubt? As we are discussing about file handling, with file handling you can store the output of the program in a file and can be perform various operations by using the stored data. The fstream library allows you to work with files. Fstream is the header file or the preprocessor file stream. It's the particular library is having all the predefined operations which we can perform by using C++ files. Some important objects and data types in fstream library are, we have the following objects and data types associated with the file stream. The various file stream library objects are output file stream, input file stream, and file stream. And what is the usage of output file stream means it creates and writes to file. Output means we can create the file, then we can write the data into the file. Input file stream means we can open the file and we can read the what we already wrote into the file. By using file stream, we can create a file and we can read the content of the file and we can write new information into the file. The various operations which are associated with the file stream objects are, we can open a file. It is open function. It is used to open a new file, and read function. Read with functions are represented with file name, function name followed by opening and closing bracket means it is a function. We can make use of the function, inbuilt function, to perform the operation. They are the class objects derived from the file stream. If you want to perform the open operation, we have to make use of file stream, f stream. And if you want to perform the read operation from your file, we have to create an object from input file stream. The same way, if you want to write some data into the existing file, then we have to open the file in write mode, and the objects of output file stream should be used to write the data into the file. These topics already we discussed. And if you, this particular slide shows you the major difference between the sequential file and random access file. So what are all the operations we can perform on C++ files or access speed? Both the sequential access files and the random access files can be differentiated based on the following parameters or the specifications. Based on the access speed, sequential access files access speed is slower compared to random access file, because we need to uh, search all the previous files to access a particular file. But in random access, through the index or memory address, we are directly accessing a particular data in the file. So based on access speed, sequential files are slow and the random access files are very fast. And access method is, it is a sequential access method, it is random access method. Files allow direct access to specific records using index and record number or the address key. And record ordering, here sequentially, the next any data will be written sequentially. The files show records in a specific order, usually the order in which they are added to the file. And in random access file, files do not have any specific order of sorting records. So data can be added randomly, and the dynamic memory allocation can be done to whenever we get new data, we can store the data dynamically by using new and delete operator. So memory may, all the data in a file will not be in the same sequence or in the continuous memory location. And if you take the insertion of new data into the sequential access file, it is a tedious process. Here, random access files may require relocating other records to maintain the order. So insertion becomes harder as compared to the sequential access. So if you want to add a particular data into your file in a particular location, we need to move the data. But in case of sequential access, new record in a sequential access file is relatively easy in the next available memory location, since new records are added at the end of the file. So in the next available position, the new data will be easily stored. Memory requirements, sequential files require less memory than the random access files, since they do not need to store any indexing information. Here they will be stored continuously, but no indexing or table of content or metadata will be maintained. But in case of random access files, the data will be stored. Once the data is stored in a particular memory location, its index and address will be stored in a separate indexing. So if you take the textbook, you can see where the chapter 2, where the chapter 3 in the table of content or in the indexing page. Or at the end of the textbook also, you can see, say, the indexing. Through the indexing, where we can identify where a particular topic is mentioned. And if you take the searching flexibility, flexibility is limited, but here flexibility is high, because through the memory address we can easily access. And the record size, the sequential access files record size are usually uniform. Here sizes can be varying size. File organization, it is sequential file access are typically organized in linear fashion. Here random access files typically stored randomly, and it can be indexed. Through the index we can identify where the data is stored. Now we will see how we can create a sequential file. What are the specifications we need to mention to create a file in sequential access mode? So we are including the iostream.h, and we are going to use a file in our program. So we are including fstream file stream.h, and to make use of all the library files, the library functions associated with file stream, we are including the header file std lib. Standard library template is included in our programming. Int main, the main program starts here and the main program ends here. We have only main program, no classes, no functions. So outputs of file stream constructor. First we are creating a file. So we want to open a file called clients.dat. Our file name is called clients. That the file name is mentioned within the double quotes, and the file is opened in output file stream mode, OF stream, and the object OC. That object points to the clients.data file, and the file is opened in output mode, ios.out mode. If the object is not created, if the object is already existing, then we can perform the task. Otherwise, so see, if the object is not existing, the file is not created, means file could not be opened, and this message will be displayed. Now we created the file in output mode. Now we are displaying, enter the account number, name and balance of the particular customer, and enter end of file to end input. This message will be displayed. Then we are reading the variables int account and name of the customer 30 characters and balance some details, while cin account number, name and balance is read from through the keyboard cin. Then those information, account, name and balance, will be fed into the object OC. Our object is created in output mode, so the file can accept the data and the data will be written into the file. Once the process is over, because our main program is into main, return 0. The main program starts here, main program ends here. We are opening the file in output mode. File name is clients.dat. We are reading the information of name, account number and balance. The same information is written into the file through the object OFStream OC. Any doubt in the program, how we are creating a sequential file and how we are writing the data into the file? Any doubt? In sequential file, the file is created and the data is received from the keyboard using cin statement. The same information is written into the sequential file and the file is in writing mode, out mode. Any doubt? Through the object OC, we are writing the data. So what is the syntax for how to open a file in C++ means? We already discussed our object OF stream, output file stream, and we are creating outline file. Outline file is our object, and for, within opening and closing brackets, we are mentioning the file name within double quotes. File name dot extension of the file. The file extension may be dat file. Dat means it is a database file, because the C++ file operations are very old concepts. So they will in those days they opened the files in data mode. The files which are containing the data about the clients or any database information will be given the extension .dat. If you want to store only textual information, you will use the file name extension as txt. Or if you want to create an object file, you can create obj. So the file extension allowed are txt file, data file, and the mode of file is output mode. Our file stream is output file stream, and the object is outline file, and the file is opened in out mode. Or we can use the other syntax. So separately we are mentioning, first we are creating the object, then through the object dot open clients dot dat open the file in output mode. So it means we are creating the file object, and through the object we are opening the file using the open statement. File open modes are, we can open the files in append mode. If you open the file, so IOS scope resolution operator APP means here we have to mention IOS APP mode. It means the file will be opened in append mode. The old data will be there. We can write the new data at the end of the file. And ATE mode means data can be written anywhere in the file. We can write the data in any location, first location or last location. And if you want to open the file in binary mode, if the file is opened in binary mode, we can read and write the data in the binary format. The same way, in mode means open a file in input mode. So if the file is opened in input mode, the content of the file we can read by using cin statement. We will read and display, get and display. Out mode means the file will be opened in output mode, so we can write the data into the file. And truncate means discard the file. The content of the file will be discarded. No create means if the file does not exist means the file operations we cannot be able to perform. No replace means if the file exists, the open operation fails. So they are all the possible process related with C++ file operations. And what is the syntax of closing a file means? How to close a file in C++? The file is closed implicitly, automatically, when a destructor for the corresponding object is called. Because the IOF stream is object. Whenever the object is created, the corresponding constructor function will be called. Once you come out from the program, the same way the corresponding destructor function will be called. That will automatically delete the particular file object. By using the member function close, we can close the file. So the file object dot close function will be called. Reading and printing is printing the data from a sequential file. So this is an example program how we can read the content of a sequential file, and once you read the content from the sequential file, that data can be displayed on the monitor or the output screen. We are including all the header files, iostream.h, filestream.h, iomanic.h. This particular header file is for performing all the input-output manipulations, and standard library stdlib also included. We are using a function called output line. Output line is our function. The function return type is void, and the function takes 2 or 3 arguments, one integer argument, one character pointer, one double argument. So the function is declared here, and the function has to be, then we have the main program. Main program starts here, ends here. Then we have to define the function output line. So the function void output line, it accesses the account number, name of the customer, and the balance of the customer. These 3 parameters, so they are the formal arguments. While declaring the function, we are mentioning the actual arguments. While declaring the file, we are mentioning the file function